Guys, I'm going to do a quick video on piping my truffles because it was requested. So right now, first I'm going to melt the cocoa butter. I'm using doterized because I'm going to attempt to color the truffle itself a little bit so that you have a pink hue. So I'm going to melt this and I'll be right back. Okay, I've melted my cocoa butter. Now it's too hot to add my dry. So I have to let this cool. I have to let it cool till I can actually touch it, but you don't want it to start setting up on the side where you see it sticking. It still has to be warm, just not piping this hot. Like, that's too hot. So I'll be back when it cools in a little bit. One more thing I wanted to tell you too was I actually added, I've done these mostly non-colored, but I added my colorants. It's sort of a lake, the pinky purple color, to the dry ingredients. So this is just it's equal parts citric soda. I've got SLSA in here, and I've got my colorant. I'm not going to add my fragrance to this. I'm adding my fragrance to the oil. And I know you say, though, they don't mix. When you start adding the dry and you mix it a bit, it'll get mixed in. I just don't want to mix this dry in case I end up using it for something else if I don't use it all. So I did, it was I think about 1.5 cups of citric, 1.5 cups of soda, just to make sure that I had the right amount of dry, because I don't want to run out with that amount of cocoa butter. And then I added my 2 tablespoons of SLSA, which you don't have to do. But it all depends, like I said, on how much cocoa butter you use. This is about, looks like a little bit more than half a cup of coconut oil, or cocoa butter melted. I've done a cup, I've done this full thing. It depends on how much you want to do. I'm only going to be piping some little tiny ones here. I've actually kept them in the cup so they're a bit more firm, not as flimsy. I used to have little silicone ones. I'd stick these in. I don't know where they are. And if I have enough, I might pipe a big one. And then I'm going to embellish it with rosebud. So I will be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So, here we go. What I'm going to do, I'll move all my little cuppies out of the way. I'm going to take my cocoa butter. I may have to move this so you guys can see. Whoa, see a bit better. Let's see if we can put you down. Hold on. I don't want to spill anything. Give me a second, because I don't think you want to see my mug. You want to see what I'm doing. Okay. So we're good? We're still going? Okay. So I got some rose geranium fragrance. I figured that'll work. There's not much left anyway. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to put it in here. Might as well use it all, because that's all I have is a little sample dude bottle. These are great to get, by the way, if you don't know if you're going to like it or not. Ooh, it's pretty strong. Okay, so we mix that up. This is so easy and so basic, guys. You're going to go, holy crap, really, Tammy? Okay, here's my dry mix. It's mixed with the pink colorants I told you, and this is what you're doing. You are going to add it in at a time like so. Mix it up a bit, obviously, because we want it to be the right thickness. You'll see when it gets to the right thickness. And yeah, it's bubbling a little bit. Ignore that. It's going to be a thick, globular mess, if you guys can see that. No, you have to go back here. It's bubbling a bit. Don't worry about that so much. And I just keep adding. I hope I have enough stuff. I just add it until I get the consistency of really wet instant mashed potatoes. And it can't be runny like this. This is not the right texture, because it'll just run right out your piping bag. So you have to get it thicker than this. And like I said, when it starts setting up, it starts setting up. Oh, I hope I have enough. Like I said, this was quite the batch, but I think we're okay. I think this will probably be doing it. Let's just see. And like I said, it starts to set up pretty fast. Yeah, that's about it right there. Oh, and there's a foreign object in there. Get out. Like I said, you can't really muck around too much once you start going with this either. So I think that that's just about good to pipe. You may say, oh, I want to add a bit more. I will add a tiny bit more, but normally I would say don't do that, because it will get so thick so fast. Yeah, see, that was almost not a good thing to do. So You see how I mean it's like instant mashed potatoes? Yeah, you know what? I think I could almost add in one more because I want it to be stiff when I pipe it. That's what you're looking for, but like I said, don't forget, this stuff sets up so fast. And if something happens, it gets too much, sets up too much on you, just plunk it into another mold and don't waste it because then you'll just have some nice truffles. Okay, that, people, is perfect. Can you see that? It's like instant mashed potatoes. That's what I was trying to tell you. So, I got my piping bag right here. I'm going to use my, see, it's already setting up. This is why you gotta move. Get it in your bag. As best you can, get it in your bag. Oh, there's some in the bottom not mixed in. Boy, oh boy. So, get it in there. Well, I guess we might as well get it all in. Sometimes what happens too is as you're piping, it'll start to set up on you in the bag. Just chip it out, save it for something else. No big deal. Okay, so here it is in the piping bag. Get it all down to the bottom. I had to use this bag because I couldn't use my other one. The nibs didn't fit. Okay. I hope you can see me where you are, which I don't think you can. Shoot. There, we'll hold you right there. Okay. It's as simple as, and I mean it's setting up already. So it's a pipe and to do. There you go. And it's setting up. So when I say move fast, people, I am not kidding about how to move fast. So there's another one. And I am squeezing. You have no idea. Squeeze, squeezes when I wish I had a man for muscles. Here, William, hint, hint, hint. Okay, there's one. Another one. Over here we go. Squeeze-a-rooney.
Are you making cupcakes?
No, I'm just making pipe truffles. I could use you to put rosebuds in them.
Why?
Because I can't do both fast enough. So squeeze it in. Try to squeeze it in. Oh, good Lord. See, it's not really that hard, but the piping tip gets somewhat plugged up a bit. Or, I don't know if it's plugged up, but it gets... You're trying to squeeze a thick amount out of a tiny little opening. So it can be quite difficult. But this is... I hope you guys can see because I'm not paying attention to the camera here. Sometimes too, I've taken the tip off and actually changed tips. If your tip isn't working, just go for a round one if you're not too concerned about fancy piping. Oops. Yeah, see, it feels a bit wet in there, but it's still very hard to come out. And I have an audience here. Yay! So, they're not super fancy. They'll be cuter when they set up. But just to give you, like I said, the idea of how we do this. And I can take the tip off and just pipe it in if you want to. But see how it's getting really, really hard to squeeze out? Don't give up. If you have to, take that tip off and either use a different tip. It's just because it's so narrow at the end and it's probably hardening or harder at the end. See, if I had my other piping bag, I could take this tip out. Sometimes you'll have to jam something in there. I wonder if I can do that. But like I said, you don't want to mess around with this. This is not something where you can just sort of take your time and say, oh yeah, it's no big deal. You don't want to do that. You really want to move when it comes to this. So anyways, I'm having a hard time piping these babies. But what I was going to do and show you, this is all I was going to do. And like I said, with white it would be so pretty. But I'm just taking my rose petals and sticking one in each truffle because it is rose geranium. I thought that would be cute. So you know what you would do is quickly pipe all your containers here first before you stop and do what I'm doing. Because that bag right there, guaranteed, is setting up on me. And you can tell by how I'm pushing these in that it's really giving me a hard time. So what I would do, yeah, it's just right there that's hard. You can, if I can, maybe I'll take it out. Give me 1 second, I get another piping bag. Okay, what I did was I just put it into a different piping bag, and my luck, the nib will probably pop off. But I just wanted to show you because it was starting to set up quite a bit, and I probably won't get it out, but yeah, if it starts setting up like this, like I said, we'll have to just do a different thing. But when I was telling you guys about moving fast, I was not kidding. You have to move fast. So these might be worthwhile actually putting it in. See, there goes the tip. Okay, well, guess what? We're not even going to use a tip. I'm just going to squish it in so you guys can see what I mean. I guess these are going to be samples at the show. What can I say? So, put that one over there. So basically, if you can see, I took the tip off. You just squeeze it in and see how much that's set up. It's still soft and would be great for a normal mold. For piping, maybe you wouldn't have added those extra little blobs like I did at the end when I said I normally wouldn't add more. Because this is why. It sets up so fast. Like it's gurgling on me. You have to move, and I'm not kidding. So, we'll just do it that way. But that's not too bad. So, that is how you pipe, guys. And I'm going to, I think, actually, if I can get this last one done, then I will cut the video off short so I can show you. But you see how it's hard right here at the end. That's where my problem is. It's all like holding tight at the bottom. If I get her going, okay, stop gurgling. If I get it going again, start getting it going. Oh, see what I mean? This is gonna have to go into mold, guys. But that's what I mean by when it starts setting up. You can see that is pretty much not a solid, but it might as well be. So that's what I'm saying, guys, okay? Move. You gotta move fast. One quick thing I thought I would add, I grabbed my mold. So I am just going to get the rest of the truffle mix into my mold. What I can get out. It's gonna take a bit of work here. But just squeeze it out. Like I said, it's too hard to pipe right now, but it's still very, very workable this way. So just kind of squish it in. It'll set up nice and hard, no problem. So that's what you do. Don't worry about it. You're not wasting any, or you can just leave it in here to get hard, and then, like I said, bust the chunks up and use them for something else. But that's what you do. See, and I'm just pushing it in. And there you go, because I don't like wasting anything. So hopefully that helps you guys, okay? I gotta move on these because it's starting to set up.